In the heart of Baton Rouge, under lights that have intimidated legends and tested the brave, a new chapter begins.
This place is different, and that's why we're here.
Death Valley, Tiger Stadium, where a Louisiana Saturday night becomes an earthquake of sound, color, and will.
When you take the history, tradition, passion, and the great players in the state of Louisiana, no one can argue that when you're in Tiger Stadium, there is nothing like it.
Now, a coach with a new plan, a new voice, and a new promise has come to Baton Rouge. Expectations surge, the stakes get higher.
But I'm very grateful for the opportunity to lead one of the elite programs in all of sports.
Change isn't quiet, it hits the field, the locker room, the recruiting trail, and it changes everything. This is more than a hire. It's a promise to the state, to the tradition, to every Louisiana Saturday night in Death Valley. Welcome to Lane Change. Welcome to our Lane Kiffin special. I'm your host, Jacques Doucet. To say it's been a season like no other in LSU football history would probably be a big understatement. Tiger fans experiencing the highs of a quick 4-0 start and a number 3 national ranking, to then the lows of the disappointing losses, and then consequently an earthquake of change on campus when it came to LSU's athletic leadership. To truly bring us into the present, let's go back to late October in Tiger Stadium against Texas A&M.
We led that game at halftime. That's a good lesson in how quickly things can turn, and Verge says a lot that football job is a two hands on the 18-wheeler job, right? And you lose your focus for a second and that thing can flip. Obviously that was tough for optics, the way the game played out. So I think that's going to lead to some conversations. And obviously a lot of things I think played out over the course of that Sunday. But then in a very short period of time, late that evening, it became clear that we were going to separate from Coach Kelly, and that all led to a team meeting that night. 5 days later, maybe we separated from Scott, while we're also going through a presidential transition at the university too.
If you just rewind the clock to that very tumultuous week, you had national columnists calling LSU a clown show. You had the governor making his comments.
No. I can tell you right now, Scott Woodward is not selecting the next coach. Hell, I'll let Donald Trump select it before I let him do it.
This was a story that sort of transcended sports with how LSU was seemingly mismanaging that turnover, and you were void of leadership.
It would be hard to look at where we were at that point and not feel like there were setbacks. I think there's definitely days in there where the brand took a hit, right? And so how do you try to overcome that? And I think we talked a lot about stability.
LSU is not broken. LSU athletic department is not broken. I think we have the best athletic department in the country. We're not going to let this program fail.
Fast forwarding several weeks, when you see where we're at now.
Go Tigers.
With our president, with our AD, with Coach Kiffin and the board and our state leadership around that, I think we've backed it up that it was a speed bump that we've been able to get past pretty quickly.
What's Saturday like? That's Saturday in Norman, Oklahoma.
I think everybody was just waiting for the other shoe to drop. A lot of you all were around, the media were around. I could just feel everybody's like, okay, like, is something happening? It stayed a waiting game up until midday Sunday. Once they got on the plane, I think that's when we were like, all right, it's time to roll. We're good with this.
And for Verge to step in that role and to navigate this perfectly, there's an old saying, loose lips sink ships. And there were no leaks from LSU. They were steady the whole time. As much as Ole Miss continued to push Kiffin for an answer, LSU's approach was, you're our guy, we'll wait for you as long as you want. Coach the playoff, we'll wait. What do you need?
Leaving Ole Miss was extremely difficult.
I think people's view of him in the press conference was naturally and understandably, maybe he was a little nervous at the start, and then he relaxed.
I'm 50, this is my 6th head job. I mean, I don't know if anybody's ever done that. So it's not necessarily great in some ways. They weren't all by choice.
And then he really gave a lot of good answers about what he wants to do here.
I think he felt a lot of weight for what the words he was going to say, not just about us, but about Ole Miss. I do think maybe he was tentative to questions that would be asked about Ole Miss. And so I think once he was able to speak and be excited about LSU and everything we had here, I do think that's when he opened up and you got to see a lot of that personality that he's known for.
I rolled down the window and I was like, go Tigers to the fans.
I don't know how anybody could not be excited about hiring Lane Kiffin. You have your championship winners like Kirby and Dabo, but Kiffin, as far as a brand, is right there among them all.
Social media platforms, numbers, engagements, reactions, what did you see?
A boom like I've never experienced, here, and it's continuing even now. Having a coach who co-signs a lot of your work and is reposting things with the following he has brings an entirely different audience, to what we do. We've been #1 since the announcement in views and impressions, all these things that you track in metrics, the social value of all those things. We've been #1 even as playoff things are happening and all these things are happening around us. Now, it's very polarizing, the social media, right? Like the metrics take in case the good and the bad, but the conversation is happening.
Yeah, a lot of people in the local media have gotten a kick out of he retweeted you, oh, he retweeted you, and it's like 4:20 in the morning.
He's finding all of you guys. he's seeking everybody. And I have notifications turned on for him, so it's always interesting when I wake up in the morning and it's, Lane Kiffin has made 17 posts while I was sleeping. I was like, let me see what those were. But I think he is so passionate and so energetic about what he does and the opportunity here.
I think this is a guy who is going to live, eat, breathe, sleep football all day, every day. I don't think there's any doubt Lane Kiffin's coming into his prime years as a head coach.
We've had 15,000 new season ticket requests since the day we announced him, which was more than all of last year. I believe about half of those were within the first 24 hours. Corporate sponsorships, we have people looking to up their spend or people that have been on the fringe or are not sure if they want to continue with us back in the fray and reaching out immediately. You're seeing that with donations as well. So all of the upticks that you would expect that drive revenue, that drive our brand, have been there in a huge way.
Welcome back to our Lane Kiffin special. We're now joined by a great panel of guests. Rohan Davey, record-setting quarterback at LSU. Jordy Culotta and Mike Scarborough have kept up with LSU football for decades. Rohan, just your thoughts. You're a quarterback. You're an offensive guy. That's Lane Kiffin's background, and it was LSU's biggest weakness this past year.
I'm excited. I didn't want to put the explicit in it just now because we're on television or streaming or wherever we are, but I'm bleep excited. He's been a portal beast for the last 4 years. Built Ole Miss this year out of the portal. You talk about Chambers, which wasn't the starter at the beginning of the year.
I think LSU is merging with Lane Kiffin at the exact right time where LSU is in need and almost desperate for somebody like Lane, and Lane is looking for a place like LSU where you've got everything. You've got the brand power, you've got the support, you've got the fans, you've got the recruiting. I mean, within the first 72 hours of him being on campus, keeping Blake Baker and the defensive line class that he hauled in, you could tell on social media this place was different for him.
I think his swagger absolutely matches the brand.
Yep.
It matches the brand. Who comes the closest in any sport at the time of hire having this type of impact? To me, it has to be Kim Mulkey.
Yeah.
Rock star.
As far as in the particular sport and the size of it.
Yeah.
And this is next level.
I agree.
Rock star hire, man. This is also what I think. Lane Ben wanted to be here.
I agree.
I think Lane Ben had an infatuation with LSU.
I agree.
And I agree with the point that it's the perfect timing. He's a lot more mature now than what we see before. Defensive emphasis, I've seen from him even take a little trending in the right directions over the last couple years with him on defense. The biggest thing for me was retaining Blake.
And Baker's sitting in a position where he can stay here, revamp this defense. You know the offense is going to be good. They could rattle some things off, and he could kind of handpick his spot here in a couple of years.
One thing I heard that Lane Kiffin did say when he first got in the building was talking to the current staff, outgoing staff, was who came up with that game plan for the last game? Is that the best y'all could do? I'll watch that game.
He ain't lying. He is not lying. It was terrible. It was terrible. Absolutely terrible. And you look at the last few games with Van Buren and the guys on the offensive staff, that was their audition for Kiffin to come in and say, you know what? Good job by the quarterback. Return you to be something. Or, you know what? Somebody else comes after you and give you a bunch of money to go somewhere else. None of that is happening. None of that is happening for the coaches or Van Buren because it was terrible. The game plan was terrible. The execution was terrible. Everything that we tried to do offensively
I'm on a set with
terrible.
Charles Barkley right now.
It was terrible. It just was.
I love it.
We've been consistent about crapping down our legs once the defense gives us an opportunity to go ahead of the football game or to take advantage of it. We sucked. Situational football, we've sucked. Sudden change, we've sucked offensively, not defensively. Sudden change, when we get a turnover and it's time to score, trying to come up with that play, do something here, do something there. We have been terrible.
One thing I love about his offense is that if he finds a weakness on the defense, he absolutely mauls it. He attacks it. He goes after it, and he does it with his best players. And I think, watching him call offensive plays is almost like art.
No, it is, man.
Sets you up to a lot of misdirection.
Sets you up.
Man. It's like when you go to like Disney World or any of them places, and they got them people out there and they drawing your picture, and at first it's just outline, and that's when you see this outline, and then you blink, turn around, go get you a damn turkey leg or something, and come back. And it's the whole picture.
Yeah.
And it's the whole picture. And you see exactly what the idea was, what it started to be, and now what it actually is. That's Lane.
Good stuff.
The Lane train.
Oh, that's where my eye was. Oh, there's my nose. Right?
That's right.
I'm excited when I think about Coach Kiffin. He's obviously a football genius. Offensive ability that he has to call a game and take advantage of situations is something that as a coach I really admire and appreciate. I think what is also really unique about him is his background, starting with his dad.
What do you say, huh? I look pretty good in this orange tie, huh?
Monty Kiffin, often thought of as one of the defensive guru of all of football of all time. I mean, that's your dad, that's pretty cool. And having a dad that was a coach, I certainly appreciate the value that brings.
He's a good guy. I mean, I'm his dad, so what am I going to say? He's a bad guy? No, he's a good guy. People misunderstand a little bit. And I think if that was true, then, Coach Saban wouldn't have hired him. But I think Coach Saban did his homework and I know Coach Saban wasn't just going to go hire somebody if he didn't.
Being on the staff of the two best head college football coaches of this time with Pete Carroll and Nick Saban, he has a background that I don't think anybody else has, and with his intelligence, I think that's an exciting combo. Verge is a pro and is awesome. He and I have had a great connection. He was part of hiring me and bringing me here. So from day one, we've had a great rapport and a great relationship. And I think when you think of him obviously as a football guy, and I don't know that there's anybody as well suited to go execute what's needed for the football program and hire a coach the way that Verge was well positioned. His sons are all high-level players right now, so not just as an administrator, but as a dad.
The success that he had at Ole Miss was just unbelievable. To take that program where it was and to be where it's at now is pretty special. And he's got personality too, which I think a lot of people in Louisiana are excited about. We're fun, we like to party, we like, Tiger Stadium's a unique place, so I think that the LSU job is a unique job, but I think we got the right guy, and I think he's going to do a great job. You've never been around LSU, you've never been around Baton Rouge, LSU sports. It's hard to explain it, but once you see it, once you're around it, you feel it, and what's understood doesn't have to be explained anymore. It's just a special place. I don't know if it's the voodoo, I don't know if it's haunted here, I don't know what it may be, but it has that it factor, that cool factor, the brand, a little bit of everything. And you're allowed to have personality here, whether you're a player, you're a coach, just like you in media, just like my mom coaching me in the athletic administration now, or when I was playing. You're allowed to be yourself. It's actually encouraged here, and I think you'll actually get more personality out of Lane Kiffin being at LSU because he's comfortable being himself, and he'll see everyone around him is doing the same thing.
It's really awesome, to be a part of this, I'll just say coaching fraternity or athletic department fraternity. And you think about, I got to meet Shaq this year for the first time, and that was awesome, for lack of a better word. I think what makes it special is the care level, of the state and of Baton Rouge to see LSU be successful, and I think it makes it a one-of-one place in that regard.
Lane Kiffin hasn't even coached the game in Baton Rouge yet, but Tiger fans are already fueling a frenzy. Our own Ethan Tuttle reports on excitement that is spreading fast.
Since 2001, this crew
What do you think?
hasn't shied away from ruffling some feathers.
We say the things that everybody's thinking that they don't want to say out loud.
Neil Hendrick is the owner of Zippy's. Since opening his business 24 years ago, the restaurant industry has changed in a big way. The sign outside, well, the only thing changing on it are those tiny little letters. The same letters that Hendrick says keep the customers coming back.
Our signs appeal to across all age groups. Every LSU fan is young at heart, and they like to see the signs we put up, especially during Alabama Hate Week and when LSU has a big win against somebody.
We put up a sign for the Texas in 2019. A sign about saying if they're DBU, then we're Ruth's Chris of restaurants.
GM Louis Mykoff has been with Zippy's since the beginning.
We went to the game in Texas, and I had guys coming up to me at the bar at a restaurant who played basketball for UT, saying that they heard about our sign in Baton Rouge, and it was just a really proud moment for me, be like, that was me, I did that.
Louis is just one soldier in an army that comes up with ideas for what the sign should say. And when Lane Kiffin was announced as the next LSU head coach,
we have to have a banger up there. It has to be good.
The battle for the best sign began.
We put up the sign actually before he accepted the job because I thought he was going to take it that Saturday. Doubly proud of that one because we did it before he took the job.
Oh, what a cute shirt you have.
At Flirty Girl off of Government Street, another forward-thinking business idea took root.
Everybody's really excited about Lane Kiffin coming to coach.
New shirts and stickers featuring Lane Kiffin, the first shipment hitting stores earlier this week.
We are calling these our Merry Kiffmas earrings.
And like many other local residents, Sandy with the shop says she doesn't see the buzz in Baton Rouge surrounding Coach Kiffin stopping anytime soon.
I think it's going to roll through to the new year. I think it's going to be what everybody's looking for Christmas, and everybody's looking forward to the new season and some wins.
hiring him. You know, I mean, there was a ton of criticism for that. There's a ton of pushback for Ole Miss, LSU, the coaching process. This is the calendar. This is the guidelines. He's the top guy on the list. Next year, it's going to be the same issue for whoever the number one candidate is. They're going to be put in a position to choose between their team or their future, and they're probably going to choose their future. And I'm not going to blame that guy, just like I don't blame Kiffin. I don't blame Ole Miss. I don't blame LSU. Everybody's kind of caught in this tunnel of what are you supposed to do?
But you know what? 2 times in a row, LSU had the lightning rod guys.
They did.
The 2 guys, the national guys, all hate Kelly.
That's right.
That's right.
And Lane Kiffin, you know his track record.
Polarizing.
Right.
And so it's like, it was a double whammy.
I think there's some people that think that, well, the LSU might take their lumps in year 1. Maybe they'll be more ready by year 2. But with the transfer portal, we shall see.
I think there's a reason to be more positive just because Kiffin and what they're going to do in the portal in January, a quarterback can change everything.
Oh, no doubt.
We saw what Jaden Daniels did with a roster with a lot of holes. That can make all the difference in the world. I think they got to get at least 2 quarterbacks in the portal. And, I mean, if you're a quarterback, how can you not have LSU at the top of your list?
I think every single year you're going to have a quarterback with Lane. I think that it's going to now almost sell itself for what he's been able to do.
50 isn't what it used to be, but he's a young 50, and he's working a lot harder than the previous guy worked. He's at the building at 4 in the morning, and people say, oh, he's got a big ego and this and that. Hey, if he needs to feed his ego by saying, I'm going to win a national championship, that's exactly what you want.
If your ego is winning football games,
you're going to fit in well here.
And that's what you want to do. Hey, buddy, you can have a big ego you want.
Right.
You understand? Coach Saban had an ego.
Just so you know, he doesn't play golf. He does like to fish offshore. But you can't do that just a few miles away.
Spring football will be very interesting. It'll be interesting to see what kind of media access we get. Will he let us watch practice?
That's a big question. From what I understand, there's none.
Doubtful.
How much do you think Lane Kiffin is going to engage with this fan base?
I think that when you got him, you got a guy that understood our culture. You got a guy that understands our history. You got a guy that knows what it takes in the SEC to be successful. And now you're here at a program that you've wanted to be on, where on the national spotlight level, like nothing. You got the best of both worlds. The world is your oyster right now, being here at LSU.
Thank you for joining us for tonight's special. Happy holidays and go Tigers.